Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the big Exeter Sleep-Out. Everyone is getting ready now, getting out their sleeping bags, their cardboard boxes, wrapping up warm, and getting ready to sleep out for one night. Whether you're joining from St. James's Park here in Exeter or from your home, please ensure that you remain safe and warm overnight. Your safety is the most important for us. I would also like to thank you because by sleeping out for one night, you are raising awareness and funds for homelessness. Your help will support our services to continue to provide supported accommodation for those who are at risk of being homeless. So thank you very much. This is a night where you would have to share your fundraising page with all your family, with all your friends, or anyone who do you think that may be able to sponsor you. So please do so. Use your Facebook, any social media. We have different ways to share the information through our social media channels. We also would like to share some messages from our CEO, Helen Betzer. Followed by this, we're going to have a story from one of our clients. This is a really powerful story, so please ensure that you're ready for some reflection, and we're going to end up with some meditation. The meditation will help you to relax and perhaps to have an easy sleep. I really hope that you feel comfortable overnight and that you enjoy this fantastic event, and thank you very much for helping us by raising funds and awareness for homelessness. And please don't forget to share your fundraising page. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking part in the big sleep out tonight. My name's Helen Betzer. I'm the Chief Executive at Julian House. We're so grateful for everything that you're doing for us. By sleeping out tonight, you're helping to raise awareness and vital funds for Julian House and the people that we support, whether that's someone sleeping on the streets, people experiencing other forms of homelessness, or women and children fleeing domestic violence and abuse, and people experiencing mental health crises and long-term unemployment. By sleeping out tonight, you're helping to ensure that we can provide vital accommodation and practical support and emotional support to people with wide-ranging needs and different experiences of social exclusion. You're helping us to provide starter packs for people moving from the streets into their own accommodation, as well as a wider range of activities that help people get back on their feet into work and into permanent housing. So on behalf of everyone at Julian House, thank you so much. By sleeping out tonight, you're literally helping people to change lives and to save lives. So good luck, everybody, and thank you on behalf of all of us at Julian House.
So my name's Luann and I work for Julian House as a casework coordinator. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about how I came to have a desire to help the homeless. So I have some personal experience of being in a tent from a young age. I had difficulties at home and my home life was not great, to the point where mine and my mum's relationship broke down when I was around 17, and I was quite lucky to get support from a supported housing accommodation similar to Julian House, who helped me to gain the skills to live independently, and then unfortunately I ended up with a partner at the time in the accommodation, which was lovely at the time, but unfortunately it went a bit wrong. I ended up in a refuge because of that, and then went back to the supported accommodation afterwards once the person was no longer in Exeter. And then unfortunately I got in another bad relationship in the same accommodation, and I ended up being in a tent with him, and that's where we found ourselves. I had some support from an outreach team at the time. They supported me to help me into the council and apply for the support there, and I eventually ended up in a temporary flat by the council, and then I ended up in my permanent place. So one of my hardest challenges when on the street, I would have said, is the scaredness and the So myself, when I was on the street, the whole period for about 3 to 4 weeks, I was on the street, and then a different occasion about another 3 or 4 weeks. Both of those times, I just didn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. And the lack of sleep then makes you even more anxious and aware of what's going on around you, and any noise. So actually, I think it was quite a challenge more for when I went back into somewhere that was safer, because I ended up having to have sleeping tablets and things to get my sort of sleep pattern back on, because I just couldn't sleep, I just couldn't switch off. You're in a quite high state of alert when you're on the street and trying to make sure that you don't get hurt. So I used to kind of go to places that were a bit out of town and a bit more secluded, which is great, but then they kind of, those sort of places can be also more dangerous because there's not so many people around to sort of see if anything's happening to you.
My name's Holly Flewitt. I'm one of the service development managers at Julian House. So it's mainly the support workers that support people away from homelessness. They have a really key role, and they touch base with me, and I help oversee that. So a key part in it is creating a move-on plan with the client. So when someone's homeless, obviously they're at their most chaotic. There's a lot of other things and a lot of other issues going on other than the fact that they are homeless. So we need to look at focusing on the key obstacles that they have in accessing accommodation, and to support the client into accommodation. So addressing things such as substance misuse, supporting their mental health, getting them even just seen by a doctor to address their physical health. So it's really working with them to get that established and some sort of support plan. It also involves a lot of getting them into their own home, liaising with a lot of agencies, a lot of multi-agency work to create a successful support plan. Support workers dedicate so much time to each individual and work really hard to get them into a position that they can succeed and find some stable accommodation. Having accommodation, whether it be in Housing First, supported, their own independent flat, it's really important because it creates that stable home for someone, and having that stable home creates sort of like a positive ripple effect to other issues that is going on in that person's lives. So with our clients, it's not just a case of they've not got a home. It's a case that they've come from a really traumatic background, they've had a lot of traumatic experiences, which has led them to this street-based lifestyle that they're living. So it's trying to work with them to get them away from that and show them there's something else outside of that. But breaking that cycle that a lot of them are so entrenched in is one of the biggest barriers to it. We had someone who was an entrenched rough sleeper. They very rarely stayed in accommodation, and if they did, it was for a very short period of time, and that went on for years and years and years. And as part of everyone in during the COVID pandemic lockdown, he accepted a flat in the centre of Bath, and he was living there. It wasn't the best property, but it was what we could do at the time as part of everyone in. So outreach supported this individual to not only get him in, which was a barrier in itself, but also support him in accommodation. Because I think a really key thing to acknowledge is that supporting someone on the street is very different to supporting someone in accommodation. There's actually a lot more risk involved with supporting someone in accommodation, especially when they've been so used to staying out on the streets all the time. So this individual support workers worked to get him in, support him there. And then as time went on, he stayed there since the February lockdown. So he's been there now for about 10 months. And there was began to be towards the end a lot of complaints from neighbours in terms of visitors, and support workers really worked hard to help him address these issues, remind him of the fact he couldn't have visitors, the risk that posed to not only his tenancy but which individuals he was letting in and all that kind of thing. And it could have been quite a vulnerable individual and in quite a vulnerable position. And we worked with the landlord to try and address that and say, because it was working towards eviction, final notices, all that kind of thing. We worked with the landlord to try and prevent that taking place. But unfortunately, he was given that last warning for the visitors. And, you know, it was really difficult for us to see because he had a note on the door saying, please don't come in my flat. I'm on my last warning. So he was working really hard to not allow that to happen. But unfortunately, because of the ongoing complaints, the landlord had to act on it. So support workers worked so hard to get him somewhere. He even said, I don't want to go back on the street. So that was an amazing reflection of the work that had been done when he'd been homeless for such a long time until that point. So yeah, support workers worked really hard, and now he's in shared accommodation still in Bath, really happy, doing really well. So yeah, it was a really good outcome. The COVID pandemic affected services and staff in two ways, really. I mean, everyone had to carry on as normal with the face-to-face liaison, face-to-face interview and face-to-face conversations throughout the scariest time, which was the March 20 lockdown. So it was a case of continuing that, but also not only managing their own anxieties amongst staff, but also the anxieties of our individuals on the street, individuals in supported accommodation who already have a lot of paranoia, a lot of anxiety, and managing it in that setting was really, really difficult. And I think as well, the fact that so many new things have come on it, it's a whole new way of working now. Everything is COVID secure, COVID related, new ways of managing things. So can we have that many people in supported accommodation now? I know that the hostel had to reduce the numbers from 20 to 17 to fit with the social distancing. So it's practicing a whole new job, really. But I think as well, it has brought some good things from it, like the example I gave earlier of the individual who's now successfully in accommodation. The main thing with the work we do that I wish that the public were aware of is kind of the emotional turbulence that the support workers go through. So anyone involved with these clients and working with these people that need the support so much, need the help, might not acknowledge that they need it, but we can see the issues going on around them and their chaotic lifestyle. To try and work with someone who is in such a situation that is so difficult and ride that with them, I think is just outstanding what the work that the support workers do. So thank you everyone for sleeping out tonight and all of your support with Julian House, and I hope it all goes well.
Welcome, my name is Max and I'll take you through a meditation today that involves a little bit of muscle relaxation and a bit of breathing as well, a bit of breath work. So we'll begin by finding a nice comfortable position, so whether that's cross-legged on the floor or sat in a chair. If you want to have your spine supported, that's absolutely fine. Some people find it uncomfortable to sit on the floor. So whatever's best for you. You don't want to be distracted through the meditation. You want to be reasonably comfortable. So once you've found your position, we're going to do some progressive muscle relaxation. And this is a technique that's really good to do if you can't sleep at night and you're lying in bed. It's a really, really good one to do. But today we'll just do it quite quickly, just as a sort of preparation to go into our meditation. So we're going to inhale and squeeze each muscle group as I name it, call it out, and then we're going to relax on the exhale. So we'll start with the feet. So just comfortably rest your hands down, either in your lap or on your knees. And so we're going to take an inhale and squeeze and flex the toes. And exhale, relax. And then onto the legs and the bum muscles, the glutes. So inhale and squeeze. And exhale, relax. And then make fists and squeeze the shoulder blades back and down on the inhale. So inhale, squeeze, and relax. Exhale. And now the stomach area. Inhale and squeeze. And exhale, relax. And now the face. So we hold a lot of tension in our faces. So screw up the face on the inhale. Squeeze the eyes shut. And exhale, relax. And now the whole body together. So squeeze every muscle. Inhale and squeeze. And exhale, relax. So as I say, you can do that for much longer if you're led down and you want to go to sleep or something, you can inhale and hold the breath for sort of 15 seconds and then slowly exhale, maybe over 30 seconds. It's really deeply relaxing. So then we'll go on to some breathing practice. So the technique I'd like to show you today is called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing, as it's known more commonly in the West. And this is really good at balancing the left and the right hand side of the brain. We tend to have a little cycle of breathing through one nostril being more dominant and then the other being more dominant. And this brings the nostrils back into like more of a harmonic breathing pattern. So they're both, it's got a really nice calming effect on the nervous system. It's also good for if you have any seasonal allergies, or if you have a cold and you're maybe blocked in your nasal passages. This will help to open that up and allow you to breathe more freely and easily. So before we get into that, let's just take 3 nice long deep breaths. So we'll feel our bellies expanding on the inhale, and then exhale and just sigh it out. So we'll do that together. So again, placing the hands down, resting comfortably on the knees or in the lap. Take a nice big breath in through the nose and sigh it out. And again, in through the nose, expanding the belly like a balloon, and exhale, relax. And then one more time, big inhale through the nose and sigh it out. So Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So we're going to place our left hands just palm facing up on the knee, or just hold it in the lap, it's fine. And the right hand, we're going to make a mudra. It's called Vishnu Mudra. We've got our ring finger and little finger together and our thumb pointing out, and then our first 2 fingers pressing down on the pad of our thumb. And I'll just demonstrate to start with, and then we'll do it together. So cover your right nostril, be covering your right nostril, breathing in through the left, retaining, closing the left, and exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right, closing the right, exhaling through the left. Inhaling through the left, closing the left, and exhaling through the right. So we'll do that together, and I'll count you through a few breaths, and then just do that in your own time. And it's quite nice because then you can go at the rhythm of your own breath. So let's find the mudra. So you've got your ring finger and your pinky finger together, and the first 2 fingers pressing down on the thumb. Thumb is out. Let's together close the right nostril, and you can close your eyes down here as well. Relax. So close your right nostril, inhale through the left. Close the left, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close the right, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close the left, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close the right, exhale through the left. Just keep going in your own time. See if you can just deepen the inhale and elongate the exhale, just gently. So nothing forced about it. Just gently deepening the inhale and lengthening the exhale. Alternate nostril breathing is really good to do if you're feeling a little bit stressed, you've got a lot on your mind. or just feeling a little bit out of balance. It's a really good way to bring you back into harmony, which makes it an excellent choice for preparation before meditation. And I tend to do at least 5 minutes practice of this before meditation. Okay, let's finish off the last round of breath. So that's when you exhale out of the left nostril. Keeping the eyes closed, just bring the hands down to rest on your lap, palms facing up, so in the lap or out on the knees, back of the hand resting on the knees. And keeping the awareness on the breath. Just notice the rising of the breath on the inhale, the rising of the belly on the inhale, and the deflating of the belly on the exhale. Feeling the effects of the alternate nostril breathing. Maybe noticing the breath has got more smooth and relaxed. Or whether your mind is feeling a little calmer, a little quieter. We will now enter a 5-minute silent meditation. And it can be really useful when we're doing a silent meditation to have something to focus on. So we're going to focus on a count. So inhaling, exhaling, counting 1. Inhaling, exhale, counting 2. Inhaling, exhaling, counting 3, and so on, up to 10. And when you reach 10, you'll go back down to 1 and start again. So let's try. 5 minutes now. So just keeping the eyes closed if they're not already. Just gently relaxing down the neck, relaxing down the shoulders, the arms, legs, and feet. Inhaling, exhaling 1. Inhaling, exhaling 2, and so on. And it's perfectly normal for the mind to wander off. And that's why we give it a count, so that you can gently bring your focus back. It's so easy to get distracted. With all the things going on in life, work, family. It's okay. You're not expected to completely empty your mind. It's really, really helpful just to have something to focus on. So anytime you find your mind wandering off, just gently bring it back to the count. Inhaling and exhaling. Making sure that you're seated comfortably, not slouching. Allowing the flow of energy to go from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Effortless awareness on the count. It's relaxed and aware. If you forget where you are, and you're thinking, is that 3 or 4? Just go back down to 1 and start again. Focusing all your attention to the count. There's some days where this is easy. Some days where it's challenging. Every meditation is worth it. Every time you do it, you're improving your focus, strengthening the focus. And please open your eyes. Welcome back. Just taking a moment to notice what's going on in your mind. If there's not a lot, then that's great. But as I said, some days you'll find the mind is busy, and other days you just get those fragmented parts of clarity that start to get stronger and stronger the more you practice. I hope you enjoyed your meditation today.